What's up, YouTubers? Aldo SJ back with a brand new video for yous here, and what this video is going to be about today, guys. Several months ago I done a bio, or at least my take on a biography of my #1 favourite wrestler of all time, the Macho Man Randy Savage. And I've been looking back on my videos and realised that I haven't actually done one on my second favourite wrestler of all time. And as the title of the video says, it is about Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Paul Levesque. So I thought it was about time that I got my creative juices going again and give you my take on my second favourite wrestler of all time. And where do we start? We start at the beginning. So Paul Levesque was born in 1969. He was born out of New Hampshire in New England, just a few miles away from Boston, Massachusetts, which was obviously quite a local wrestling town back in the day. And as far as I know, Paul Levesque was introduced to it via his father, Paul Levesque Sr., where, very like myself, get introduced to it at a young age. Triple H was introduced to it at the age of 5. He was rolling around the room with his football helmet and football, whereas as soon as the wrestling came on, he put the helmet down, curled up on the sofa next to his father, and like myself at a young age, he was just captivated by by what was going on the television. As Triple H got older, he realized he liked how those professional wrestlers were looking on television, and he got into bodybuilding at a very young age. I believe it was from the ages of 12 or 13. His parents got him his first weight set, and there started the process that Triple H would become the Arnold Schwarzenegger of his era, his generation even. But Triple H has always said that it wasn't just the pro wrestlers on TV that made him get into that. It was watching Arnold Schwarzenegger as well that made him think he could make himself look like that. And he done his schoolwork. He went to the gym, done his schoolwork. He basically, from a very, very young age, started living the life of a young bodybuilder. So obviously growing up in the 70s at a young age and then hitting the 80s is where he really, really started to develop himself even more. And after just before graduating high school, he got a job at his local gym, and it escalated to the point where he actually became a young gym manager. And I believe a powerlifter / wrestler by the name of Ted Arcidi came into the gym and struck up conversations with Triple H. Obviously in that area as well, there'd be local wrestlers who came in and out of that gym for workouts, but it was Ted Arcidi who struck up the conversation more with Triple H and introduced him to Killer Kowalski, Walter Killer Kowalski, who was a former pro wrestler himself and also a former World Tag Team Champion with the legendary great Gorilla Monsoon. So Triple H was introduced to Killer Kowalski, and Triple H obviously had to go back to his parents and ask if he could get the money to train. His parents, I have to say, were one of the most supportive parents I've ever heard in my life, where they wanted him to do well. He got his schooling all done and everything like that, but they wanted their son to pursue his dream. They gave him the money to help out. He obviously was making his own money on his job, but just that little bit more, just so he could get the schooling from Killer Kowalski. And it started from there. Triple H obviously had the look at the time, a young bodybuilder, and he progressed very, very rapidly in that camp as well. Was fun facts for you here. In that wrestling camp with Killer Kowalski at the time was Perry Saturn and a certain Ninth Wonder of the World. A Ninth Wonder of the World in the making was part of that class as well. Hence the strike up of the friendship with each other. And throughout the years, both Triple H and Perry Saturn graduated at the same time. They were put together as a tag team in the local independent areas, and Triple H always seemed to be a brighter spark, and so much so it got him independent bookings on his own. And under that banner of his own, he was known as Terror Rising. That was his first pro name, and it was given to him by Killer Kowalski, because Killer Kowalski said to him, "Oh, if you're going out on your own, you need a name," and gave him Terror Rising. And Triple H was like, "Is that it? Is that what I'm given? Can I not have something cooler than that?" And as Triple H has told the story, Killer Kowalski got a pizza box and just went, "Terror Rising. There you go." And for the first few years, that was his name. He eventually got recognized by the powers that be at an early WCW, and they brought him in as Terror Rising. And over the course of a couple of years, they saw that he could do more. And at the time, Eric Bischoff was in charge of WCW, and I believe Triple H was just at the start of his first 6 months in his career. He had got a developmental year deal with WCW at first, and then it developed into more. I believe that's how it happened. If I am wrong, please put it down in the comments below. Like Randy Savage's bio, I'm trying to go through this, all that I've read, heard, everything. So if I do get things wrong on Triple H, please put the comments down below and let me know. So in that 6 month developmental deal in late 93, early 94, Eric Bischoff was going to sign Triple H to a better contract, and Triple H said, "Well, why don't you pay me for a year?" And Eric Bischoff was like, "Are you sure? You're going to be turning down a lot of money?" And throughout that year, Triple H learned a lot in that time of how he wanted to be perceived as a character, where he was going. As I say, he started off in WCW as Terror Rising, but WCW had a bad habit of repackaging a lot of people, a lot of the time, similar to what the WWF, WWE do today. And they repackaged him as Jean-Paul Levesque, like a French aristocrat. Now, Triple H has went on record that he cannot speak French or broken French in any way whatsoever, so I have no idea how that worked. But his booker in WCW at the time was the Nature Boy Ric Flair. He went and asked, Triple H went and asked Ric Flair, how do I get this across? How do I make it seem, get across as real? And Ric Flair's response to him at the time, because Ric Flair was the man in WCW, even though he was one of the head bookers, his response was, "It's up to you to figure out." That was Ric Flair's response. So at that time, realistically, Ric Flair did not give two fly-ins about how Triple H got that across. How things would change going forward, as I will get into. So Triple H came in as Jean-Paul Levesque, got re-brought in as Jean-Paul Levesque, and it went off from there. He got put with William Regal and Bobby Eaton, because they were going through an English invasion gimmick. So they were kind of paired together at the time, just so they would learn off each other. Triple H's highlight match is one of his highlighted matches in WCW is probably, Starrcade '94, where he goes up against Alex Wright. It's actually quite a good match, and in that match, and in the '94 of WCW, you sort of see where Triple H is going to develop to the character that he becomes. In the WWF WWE, he is as I say, the French aristocrat, and he eventually gets a meeting with Vince McMahon in, I want to say, in February of '95. He gets that meeting. He gets brought in. They like his gimmick that he had in WCW, and they turn around and said to him, "Well, are you actually French?" And Triple H is like, "Well, no, I'm not." And they had this idea of a Greenwich Blue Blood, coincidentally enough, where the WWF WWE is home based in Greenwich, Connecticut, or Stamford, Connecticut, but in that area, in the Connecticut area. So Vince McMahon turned around and went, "I've always had this idea of a Connecticut blue blood that thinks he's better than everybody else," sort of taking the mick out of where he was living at the time. And he saw Triple H, who wasn't Triple H just yet, but he saw him. Vince McMahon saw Hunter being kind of this person that could carry that, and hence the name of the full title, Hunter Hearst Helmsley. What a mouthful that was. So got the tryout, got put with a couple of trainers, and so they could basically fab out where Hunter was going to be going, and how he would get there. He made his debut in the spring of '95, and it sort of just grew from there. They gave him vignettes of the Greenwich Blue Blood storyline, and basically he was brought in as a heel, so you really were gonna hate this guy. Over the course of '95, he was sort of put as in the mid-card section, where he was having mid-card rivalries. Don't get me wrong, he was having good matches, but they were just trying to get him over. And it wasn't until maybe late '95, early '96 that he was starting to get a little bit more of a better run. During this time as well, legendary professional wrestler Terry Taylor actually told Triple H, "Look, if you're going to run with certain people, you're better running with the likes of Shawn Michaels, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, just to get a run of, get an idea of what's going on in the business." Add Sean Waterman to that mix as well, and was the birth of the Clique. So Triple H learned a lot from them, because Triple H is just one of these people that he just soaks so much information up. He's like a big sponge, okay? He wants to learn here, he wants to learn that, and everywhere in between. At least that's the vibe that I've gotten from him. And as time goes on, he is getting put with the likes of The Undertaker. He is getting put with the likes of Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, as their Diesel and Kevin Nash gimmicks. But just to get him over, try and get him a little bit more exposure. I mean, if you look at the traditional Survivor Series elimination tag at the Survivor Series 95, Triple H is part of the group The Royals against the Dark Side, who were actually members of The Undertaker and his clique, the Bone Street Crew. And Triple H gets choke slammed off from the apron from The Undertaker into the ring and squashed, basically. And you're like, wow, he's not going to do very well, is he, going forward? But he does. He does get better over time. Unfortunately for Triple H, we're heading into January, February, and spring of '96 now. And unfortunately, Triple H did not have a good first WrestleMania, because a certain warrior was returning, the Ultimate Warrior, and Triple H was a sacrificial lamb to the Ultimate Warrior, unfortunately. Anybody that goes back and watch that match, you feel sorry for Triple H big time. And it was also during the early part of '96 that Triple H was actually starting to call himself Triple H as well. The announcers and the commentators were still calling him Hunter Hearst Helmsley, but he was starting to call himself Triple H around about this time, just so you guys know. And excuse me, not long after WrestleMania, it was found out that Kevin Nash and Scott Hall were leaving the WWF WWE for greener days in WCW. And I don't need to go into any too much detail about this. Everybody knows the infamous curtain call at Madison Square Garden in the spring of '96. All I need to say is Triple H got the bowl of crap to eat during that time, because Scott Hall and Kevin Nash were leaving. Shawn Michaels was the WWF champion at the time, so nothing could get put on him. I believe Sean Walterman had already left by this point as well, and he wasn't there either, but nothing could get done to him. So it was Triple H that was given the ball that goes, hey, you're not going anywhere at the moment, you're getting punished for it, which was a shame. Which was a big, big shame for Triple H, because he was actually penciled in, those that don't know this, he was penciled in to win the 1996 King of the Ring. And that would have hopefully catapulted him to better days. So we're going to stop with this just now with part one, with Triple H's story. And we're going to go into part two, where we see what happens after the King of the Ring. So, as I always say, guys, you stay safe, you stay awesome, and good journey in life, guys. And come back for part two, please. Thank you.